I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the last public business meeting?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Gentlemen, tonight, item number 1, we have Ms. Harlan Smith, Western Maryland Coordinator for the America 9/11 Foundation.
Hello, my name is Harlan Smith. I am a member of the Marine Corps League and a local coordinator for the 9/11 Foundation. I am here today to tell you that the last 9/11 Memorial Ride is this year. For those who are not aware of this organization, it is a group of motorcycles that have been visiting and honoring all 3 crash sites from the tragic day of September 11, 2001. Their final ride through Cumberland is Friday, August 19th, approximate time, 9 o'clock. The ride is in remembrance of those who served, participated, and those who volunteered and lost their lives that tragic day. Their annual ride has been in August, respecting each site and the survivors, allowing them to mourn during September. The foundation has also, as of this year, given out $330,000 to first responders' children. My story with this group began 12 years ago. My husband and I were pulling out of Klein's restaurant. There seemed to be hundreds of bikes passing us. We followed them to Allegany College, where they lined up on a college lawn by the entrance. After talking to a few of the riders, I realized quickly that there was no one there to greet them. I made up my mind that next year would be different. I asked the Vietnam Veterans Chapter 172 and the Marine Corps League to come out to the college and the next year greet them as they pulled in. They moved their stop in 2012 to Rocky Gap State Park. The Color Guards, Bowling Green, and Crescent Fire Departments were there with their bucket truck and large garrison flag. The Vietnam veterans provided bottled water for them. Allegany County and Cumberland citizens have greeted them all along their path. I would like to encourage those who do not see them in Cumberland to come out to Rocky Gap to meet, greet them, and thank them for their dedication. There has not been a real good turnout at Rocky Gap, so I'm hoping more will come this year. They are there for about a half hour. The best and most moving thing for me is hearing them coming from afar. They are led with many policemen from many cities and states. The last count of motorcycles I had was over 1,500. This last year and final ride, I am having all the color guards line up behind the rows of bikes. 5 minutes before they depart, their president, Ted Sajorza, will give the sign to get ready to pull out. Then a Vietnam veteran will play taps. It will be a proud moment for Allegany County and Cumberland. Very sad to wave goodbye, but the one thing is, all of us will never forget.
Thank you.
Up front.
Proclamation for the organization. This says, whereas on September 11th, 2001, the peace and security of our nation was shattered by terrorist attacks that claimed the lives of multiple thousands of people, the World Trade Center, New York, the Pentagon, Washington, and the fields of nearby Shanksville, Pennsylvania. This tragedy rose a remarkable spirit of unity, compassion, determination, and a steadfast commitment to never forget those victims of 9/11. Whereas we too always remember those who rose to service during this occasion, especially those police, fire, and EMS. America's 9/11 Foundation has announced the final ride this year, the 15th anniversary of 9/11. We, the County Commissioners, strongly encourage all citizens to warmly welcome the participants in this final ride as they travel through Allegany County one final time on Friday morning, August 19th, 2016. Sign Jake Shake, Creed Brother, and Valentine. Thank you.
You can close it for the front seal. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I must say, I'm going to miss seeing them. I haven't missed one yet since the first one went through, and since I work right there in Motor City, we get to stay along the road every year and see them. That's going to be a sad thing not to have. But I want to thank you, because I can't remember how many years ago we had a little hiccup. And you called me one morning, and the ride was almost not going to happen. And,
Yes.
and I luckily was able to get a hold of Senator Edwards immediately, and within 2 hours that whole thing was resolved. And because a long story short, I ain't gonna get into details. The people of this area do appreciate the ride and what it stands for, and there was no way that a few people was going to stand in the way of that. So
Thank you.
thank you for all your efforts.
And it is amazing, the unity we had in those couple months and years right after 9/11, the country had, that we really don't see in the country right now.
Yes.
Item number 2, Courtney Thomas and Dwayne Yoder. We have a multi-generational update, something they've been working on for the past year, couple months. A while.
Good evening. I'm Courtney Thomas, the Executive Director of the Allegany County Human Resources Development Commission. Greg Crawford, some of you may remember as a Garrett County Commissioner, but he's Vice President of Strategic Initiatives at Garrett County, Director of Strategic Initiatives, Garrett County Community Action Council, and Dwayne Yoder, who is the President of Garrett County Community Action Council. And so for several years, each of our agencies worked independently on what we call a two-generation approach to ending poverty in this community and in Garrett County. By essence, not only making sure that children that we serve through our early childhood programs have access to high-quality early childhood education that puts them on the right foot for future success, but we've also worked with their parents simultaneously to make sure that they also have opportunities far beyond just receiving benefits to help them get by. And some of these benefits would be access to financial education, working with them to make sure that they have a high school diploma or GED, access to career pathways, and then pursuing advanced education or technology training so that they can gain livable wage employment in our communities and have a better life for themselves and their children. Because we know that children do well in families that do well, and communities do better when their families are healthy and economically strong. So about a year ago, we worked together to partner on an application to be considered for the White House Rural Council's Rural Impact Two-Generation Approach. We were one of 10 agencies nationwide that were selected for this project. We are well within our first year, almost winding up our first year. Initially, we were told it would be a one-year commitment. They did extend it for a second year, and what that provides to us is technical resources as well as the opportunity to network with 9 other agencies across the country on best practices to move this effort forward. And the regional approach really makes sense because our demographics are the same in terms of population. Our anchor institutions in terms of employment and supports are very similar. And we also are very fortunate to have supportive municipal government because of efforts like yours and Garrett County Commissioners who have made education such a priority through the Commissioner's Scholarship. We have a resource in our 2 communities that a lot of our counterparts don't, because you're helping to fund educational opportunities for low-income individuals. So we applaud you for that, and thank you for that, because you help us with our efforts. We do have a commitment to furthering our work, and it's gaining traction nationwide and also some additional interest in the state. And as part of that, one of the things we are doing is increasing education and awareness. as well as garnering additional support. So I'm going to turn it over to Reagan, who's going to talk about the NACO Challenge.
Well, thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, Courtney. We appreciate the time on the agenda today. And I would just echo Courtney's sentiments as she captured it very well. The National Association of Counties, NACO, their legislative committee issued a challenge earlier this year, the Rural Impact County Challenge. They represent about 3,000 members, and they're looking to have at least 100 of their member counties, and you all are a member of that through MACO, Maryland Association of Counties, to adopt the resolution which acknowledges and supports the two-generation efforts, much like we're putting forth here. It's two pathways, one future. There's a pathway for the children, a pathway for the families. One future creates greater economic stability. You can provide services to support each at the same time. So we've come before you today to ask for approval of the NACO resolution. We went before the Garrett County Commissioners July 5th and briefed them and informed them as to our efforts, and they unanimously passed it, and that's what we're here today asking for.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion?
I sort of make her happy.
All right.
So I make a motion that we do accept this.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Good seeing you, sir.
Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you for your support.
All righty. Item number 3 is County Home Rule Bill 4-16, and that's our Economic Development Incentive Program. Mr. Rudd, do you want to start and all?
Sure. Based upon some discussions that I had with Commissioner Shade, and based on a work session several weeks ago, I drafted a couple of commissioners a bill which I think incorporates Commissioner Shade's and then the other commissioners' intent, which is to provide an incentive program for new businesses coming to Allegheny County to employ people. Anything over 3 new employees, they would get an incentive of $3,000 for the first 3 to 10 employees, and an additional $2,000 for any employees over 10 up to 25, with a cap of a total of $45,000. They'd have to be residents of Allegheny County. Those jobs would have to be in place for a year. The incentive would not be paid until the end of the year, so we don't have to do callbacks, and would not include owners or owners or principals in a business. It would have to actually be employees of the business. And it's designed, once again, for basically new businesses coming. It has to be full-time employees, that is anybody over doing 35 hours per week, and I think that covers a lot.
And again, we discussed this at length at our work session a couple of weeks ago, but the missing piece of the state economic development package basically is these small groups of companies that have less than 25 employees. So we're trying to fill that void, and it's geared towards really tech-based businesses, but there's a lot of different industries that fit in that we'll be able to give it to. But the jobs have to pay over $45,000 a year. Like Mr. Rudd said, the first 3 to 10 employees, they get $3,000 per employee. 10 to 25, then it's $2,000. And this is just a way for Allegheny County to stand out from the rest of the state and say we're open for business, and we're looking forward to working with you. So this is a public hearing.
Well, no, this is the legislative day to introduce.
We're just introducing it.
Yeah, but you do need a motion to introduce them. And then we'll have a hearing and, of course, vote.
I'll make a motion, we introduce it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so the hearing will be on the August 11th already. Item number 4, we have a zoning amendment. Mr. Dorsey.
Yes, this is the decision stage of a text amendment to accommodate some on-site commercial signs in the commercial zoning districts in LaVale. We're just specifying that the sites, these on-site signs, could be erected up to 72.5 feet if they are within 200 feet of the center of the east and west drive aisles of I-68.
That would be 2,000 feet, right?
2,000. And I'll just make you make a decision on that for us.
What's the current height regulation?
25 feet. The problem is some signs can't be seen from the interstate.
Right. But aren't some signs already higher than 20?
Yeah, that's where the 72.5 feet comes from. That is the height of the tallest sign in LaVale. The Planning Commission thought it would be fair that any other business meeting the criteria would be able to have that height.
But what is the tallest sign?
Probably Liberty Liquors.
Liberty
That's the
Liquors.
one.
All right. Is there any discussion?
No, sir.
I'll make it muted.
Yeah.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we adopt.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. Item number 5 is our Allegheny County Enhancement Program. Mr. Nedved.
Commissioners, on June 8th, we had a discussion. We invited all the municipalities in Allegheny County, and we listened to their concerns and the programs they had for blight, tackling blight in their respective areas. All the municipalities were invited, and Cumberland, Frostburg, and Westernport attended, along with representatives from the county. It was a very good discussion. June 30th, we had a work session where we introduced guidelines to help address the problems that these municipalities are having with blight. And on July 19th, we proposed guidelines, and we posted them to the website. We have received some suggestions from the various municipalities and changes to the guidelines, and we have incorporated some of them into the guidelines. And today, the staff is asking that the commissioners adopt the proposed guidelines and authorize the Department of Economic and Community Development to start accepting applications for the program and to make the program effective September 1st. That's what the resolution before you does.
This is also known as our blight removal program.
Yeah.
But it's
But we're calling it community enhancement
community enhancement.
because it will include a facade program for Frostburg.
Right.
We want to get structures built back with lots rather than just removing blight properties. I'll make a motion we move forward with this.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Nedved.
Thank you.
Back to back, number 6.
And this one I'm going to read, sorry, basically to get things in the record here. The Maryland Community Development Administration provides financing for the Maryland Mortgage Program to each county through the sale of tax-exempt bonds. This program provides below-rate mortgages for home ownership to the residents of Allegheny County. All of Allegheny County is considered a targeted area, which means one does not have to be a first-time home buyer to participate in this program. The 2016 sub-allocation for Allegheny County is $2,566,134. CDA offers a variety of fixed rate loans. Interest rate loans range from 2.750% to 5.232%, depending on the option selected. Since Allegheny County is a targeted area, current income limits to qualify, and I always say at this point are very generous, are $107,400 for 1 or 2 persons in the household, with an increase to $125,000 for a family of 3 or more. So you can see a lot of people would qualify for this program. The maximum acquisition cost is $312,368 for existing or newly constructed homes. So you can see pretty much every home would qualify. The program is accessed through various mortgage lenders throughout the state of Maryland, but in Allegheny County, the participating lender is BB&T Corporation, And the contact for that program at this bank is Kelly Palomar. And then I'm going to read off a phone number for the record, 301-991-8488, and her email is kpalomar@bbnt.com. And at this point, Commissioners, I'm recommending that the Board of Commissioners authorize the transfer of the $2,566,134 to the Community Development Administration's Maryland Mortgage Program for the issuance of tax-exempt housing bonds on behalf of Allegheny County, and authorize the President to sign the letter of transfer.
Is there any discussion?
No discussion? I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? No.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Item number 7 is our consent agenda. Mr. Everly.
Commissioners, tonight you had 2 items on our consent agenda this evening to consider. Items 7 and 8. The first item number 7, is a motion to declare surplus 2 pieces of property the county has acquired from a recent tax sale. A piece of property located in Crescenttown and another piece located in Western Border. Commissioners, item number 8 is a motion to request abatement of taxes for 7 properties located throughout the city of Cumberland on behalf of the Mayor and City Council, who are in the process of acquiring those properties and are looking to raise them.
Is there any discussion? I see one of these properties is in the Rolling Mill area. I'll make a motion we accept the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Everly.
Commissioners, we do have a bid opening to announce this evening. We have the Frostburg Business Park Access Road project that was opened earlier this week, and we should be in the process of advancing a recommendation from our staff to you for our public meeting on August 9th.
We get lots of bidders on that, John?
We did 5, sir.
Very good.
So we're very excited with the bid outcome.
Good.
And that's all I have.
Mr. Rudd.
Okay, nothing.
Commissioner Mallon.
I agree, he has nothing. It's been sort of busy. On July 15th, the county took part in a groundbreaking for the upper section of Braddock Road near Frostburg, where Braddock Road comes off of Route 68. That's going to open that area for development. There's a rather nice development plan to go in up that area, and it's a much needed project, something they've been working on for quite a few years. And then, of course, this past week, we had a truly good Allegheny County Fair. We finally got a fair weekend without any downpours. We had really good attendance at our concerts out there. Commissioner, we're honored to introduce Chris Jansen on Monday night, and then there was the more religious groups on Tuesday night, who was actually the highest selling concert group of musicians out there. And then on Wednesday night, of course, we had Charlie Daniels, who will be inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame very shortly. Real honored to meet that gentleman. So hats off to Kevin Kamoff and all the volunteers helping put that fair together. People don't realize how much work they do. Whenever that fair closes down at nighttime, that's when those guys get busy getting everything changed over for the following day. So very good fair. Hopefully they continue to be good.
Great.
Very good, Bill. I would kind of echo the same sentiments with the fair. We was out most of the week. I go out every year, help as much as we possibly can. Every year they drag me into a challenge out there. Instead of the most weight you can lose in a week, it's the most weight you can put on in a week.
So they don't have to drag it.
Yeah, so this year you have to weigh in Saturday morning at 8 o'clock on the cattle scales, weigh it the following Saturday. And I really don't like to lose. So this year I put my head down and I thought, doggone it, I could eat pretty much as anyone can. I still come in second place. I couldn't believe it. I lost, but it was all good fun. That is kind of amazing to see Charlie Daniels out there be 80 years old in October. And when he hit that stage, he had more energy than most 20-year-olds I see. That gentleman could sing and play, because I shouldn't even say this, but I want to get up on stage, because me and Jake from around the other side, I wanted to make sure it was him singing and he wasn't lip syncing, or it wasn't playing from something else. And that was him singing and that was him playing.
And he's not a little guy.
No, he's a big guy. But what a super gentleman. Dave, your group that you helped pick and took care of all the behind-the-scenes activities, and they did fantastic this year, right?
Very excited.
And the name of them was?
10th Avenue North.
Sold the most tickets, I understand. We had a little hitch there with the guy selling the T-shirts out there for him, but other than that, it get all good worked out. So.
By the way, I think it's important for everyone to know that Charlie Daniels had a stroke a year ago and made a complete recovery.
Could never tell. Could not tell.
But now the fair's behind us for a year now. It's getting back to our normal grinds, and hopefully we'll have some good news coming shortly.
Well, there was one other little blip out there. Creed ran the price up on me on a chocolate chip cookie, so I owe him one.
If you ever wonder who has the most money up here sitting, I can honestly tell you it's Bill Valentine, because he stroked me right out of the water. I turned around, I tried to catch Paul, and I tried to catch Dave because I needed some money. They was gone. So,
nobody outbuys me on chocolate chips.
Bill paid quite handsomely for a chocolate chip cookie. Goes to a great cause. They put it all into their scholarship fund. It was worth every penny that was spent there. I enjoyed watching Bill spending his money immensely.
Just for you, Creed.
Yeah, Charlie Daniels, I mean, that was amazing to have him here and talk to him. I didn't make it to 10th Avenue. I was at the City of Cumberland at their meeting, and it's good to see them taking some steps to move forward, opening the downtown mall, and I think that's going to be part of a redevelopment project. They're working with the state. And so I look forward to helping them in whatever ways we can. You know, they got a lot of buildings downtown that are vacant, but it feels like there's some momentum, and the winds are shifting in Annapolis, and it seems like a good time to get stuff done. So we'll stay tuned on that one. With that, we don't have anyone signed up for public comment this evening, but. So that'll conclude the meeting. Our next meeting will be Thursday, August 11th at 5 p.m. We also have a work session that day on the 11th at 3 p.m. right here in the building. Thank you. Good night.
And thank you guys for all your hard work. The fire police do an exceptional job. So I said that on stage, but I'll say it here. So.
That's why you pay your tickets.